Do you know, one of the biggest lessons of Bhagavad Gita is to tap our innate soul power, to become victorious over our lower ego nature. So in the next verse, number 30 of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan Shri Krishna explains to Arjun that as the soul is immortal, you should not mourn for the dead. The soul, being a fragmental part of God, is immortal and divine in nature. Therefore, every human soul is nothing else but God. And when we realize that it is God who appears in our lives as a loving son, as a loving daughter, or a mother, or a father, a friend, or a beloved husband, or a caring wife, and it is only God who disappears again from the view, our life is always filled by moments of unconditional love and joy and ecstasy. So we shall go very deep into this important knowledge that we can dissolve many of the fears of our life. So stay with us till the end. And if you have not subscribed till now, I suggest you to subscribe to this video now so that you do not miss out on the forthcoming lectures in this series. But before we start, kindly allow me to pay my gratitude to my Guru. Om Ram Shri Kanhaiyalal Sharmaye Namaha. Om Shri Guruve Namaha. Bhagwan Shri Krishna says, Dehi Nityam Avado Aham De Sarvasya Bharata Tasmat Sarvani Bhutani Na Tvam Shochi Tum Arhasi. Bhagwan Shri Krishna says, O Arjun, Dehi, which means the soul that dwells within the body, is avadhya or immortal. Therefore, shoche tumarasi, you should not mourn for anyone. The way Bhagwan Shri Krishna delivers his teachings, should be an eye-opener for every teacher, for every guru in this world. Lord Shri Krishna, often explains the concept in a few shlokas, and then states a shloka which would be summarizing those teachings. So this shloka is a summary of all that Bhagwan Shri Krishna has said about the immortality of the self, and it is its distinction from the mortal body, that is the difference between the dehe or our body and the dehi, which is the dweller within this body, which is our soul. Just as the dreams keep changing, but the dreamer remains unchanged, even though he participates in all the dreams. Similarly, our invisible soul remains unchanged, even though it has been dreaming the bodies of so many incarnations, of so many lifetimes. It is natural for human beings to grieve over the loss of near and dear ones. But the Bhagavad Gita shows us the proper frame of mind that will free us from inordinate grief. Life and death, pleasure and pain, and all opposites of this world of duality, they affect different people differently, depending upon their specific sensitivity. For example, the pain of losing one's own mother may be experienced differently by two individuals. The person who is more sensitive and who is unprotected by a balance of reason is overwhelmed by his loss. He may become emotionally incapable of even carrying on with his worldly duties. But the person who is more balanced by reason is not so much affected by this sorrow. he grieves, but then life goes on for him. The sensitive man on the battlefield of life has no armor to protect himself when he fights this mighty army of emotions and sentiments. He is overpowered by his sentiments and becomes incapacitated. But the yogi, the man of perfect equilibrium, is neither hypersensitive nor he is heartless. When a yogi is faced by the death of a loved one, he understands. He understands the nature of the loss that he has sustained. But inwardly, he remains neutral and unmoved because he perceives that the nature of all material things is impermanent. He knows that it is foolishness to expect permanent happiness by remaining attached to material forms and objects. Knowledge is light. It illuminates and reveals the nature of reality. Hence, a yogi, enlightened by wisdom, is well prepared to meet such incidents in life. If you have noticed, our elders and knowledgeable people, wise people who possess spiritual knowledge, they never speak of an individual's death. They would not say that Rama is dead. Instead, they will say Rama has left his body. The wise do not grieve for a soul who has gone from one bodily residence to the other. Grief is born out of ignorance, out of attachment, and out of a selfish love. An ordinary man, he sees only the present frame of existence. He cannot comprehend the universal nature of his true self and of all the souls. So when his near and dear ones are snatched away by death, he weeps at his loss. He doesn't seem to understand that in truth there is no loss at all, because the soul exists eternally. Those who understand that the nature of soul is immortality do not unwisely grieve about others' deaths. Bhagavad Gita does not teach us to be heartless. It does not teach us to forget friends or to erase the memory of our near and dear ones. No. Bhagavad Gita only urges you to avoid unreasonable feelings of bereavement and useless lamentation. It is not good to keep mourning for our loved ones who have died and thus keep sending them very sad vibrations. When we continue to mourn for them for unduly long period, we are ignorantly and foolishly only keeping their astral body earthbound. By our foolishness, we are not allowing them to liberate to higher dimensions or lokas. By our ignorance and foolishness, we keep disturbing them in their astral world. It is God who gives us children and families and friends. We should be so grateful so long as we have them. And as and when the divine planner moves them away to another plane of existence, we should cherish their memories. We should be grateful for our memories of them. Advanced devotees on the earth can consciously send vibratory communications to persons who are spiritually evolved in the astral world. Such conscious communication is possible only between advanced souls. But even the ordinary man has the power to send love to his departed dear ones. The vibrations of good thoughts, of love, are never lost. but they provide joy and well-being to those beloved ones who have gone to the astral world. The grief of most human beings, over the deaths of those who are close to them, is due to selfishness, because of a personal loss of some form of service or comfort. Very few people love others without a tinge of selfish interest. This is the nature of human love. Most people grieve not for the beloved, but for their personal deprivement. All good persons who enter our lives are in fact expressions of God's love for us. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. Brahma is real. The universe is Mithya. Mithya doesn't mean non-existent or non-real, but Mithya means that it cannot be categorized as either real or unreal. The Jeev is Brahma itself, and it is not different. Therefore, every person is God himself. Every friend, whether he or she is a relative, a friend or a spouse, whether he is with us now or whether he has left his earth plane, is a medium through which God himself symbolizes his friendship. To ignore or to abuse such relationships is therefore an insult to God. In all our harmonious relationships, we must remember that it is God who is playing hide and seek from behind the living hearts. We should never ignore or forget any kindness or any service extended to us by a friend. In fact, not just our close relatives, but all humanity are not only our friends, but are our own self. Friends are God in disguise. God, the friend behind all the friends. God, the only faithful lover. God gives us friends and relatives so that we may have the opportunity through these relationships to experience love. This is the first step of expansion beyond self-love, beyond self-love towards divine love. It is God who appears for a time as a loving son or a daughter or a mother or a father or a beloved one. And it is He who disappears again from the view. If karmic bonds are strong, especially our spiritual ties, He may come again in relationship with the same souls in different incarnations. It is God and God alone who has encased Himself as the soul in all the human beings that He has created. And when one human being loves another human being with pure divine love, he sees the Spirit of God manifesting in that person. In order to demonstrate His spirit nature as soul, the one God who exists in all the bodies appears in one form, then exits from that form, reappears in new forms, then disappears again. That's why, rather than the body, we should love the immortal spirit within that. Those who mistakenly love the body as the self, they experience undue grief and pain in the end, because the body must perish. Those who love the indwelling spirit, they experience a lasting joy, because they know that the soul is immortal. Death cannot touch it at all. Bhagwan Shri Krishna is teaching an important point to Arjun and to all of us in this shloka And in the preceding shlokas about the inviolability of the soul, the Lord is reminding us of our innate soul power to become victorious over our lower ego nature. Though our ego, our senses, our desires, they can cloud our consciousness for some time. They can neither destroy nor change the soul, nor suppress it forever. Every soul, no matter how dead it seems, no matter how deeply it is buried beneath bad habits of ego consciousness, is able to resurrect itself with divine blessings. And only those having this true knowledge are able to design an extraordinary life for themselves. And if you wish to learn more secrets to design an extraordinary life, you can join my free workshop, whose link is given below. And in my free workshop, I tell you the secrets to design your extraordinary life. I am your brother guide to prosperity, and my mission is to help you to realize the dreams of your life and help you achieve something worthwhile in life, for which your family, your parents, and your children can be proud of. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.